Right, good afternoon everyone and welcome back to the channel. Firstly, thanks very much to all our new subscribers. The channel's grown really well in the last week and I'm absolutely blown away and gobsmacked. So thanks everyone who's supporting the channel in that way. It's really nice to see it grow. Just wanted to make a quick video and I'm aware this is it's very subjective, just showing what I'm going to be packing for a day hike, a day in the mountains. I'm heading off to the mountains tomorrow for a long mountain day. I'm doing a new route which I've never done before. I've been doing a lot of research about it and by all accounts it's quite an arduous day out, so I just wanted to make a bit of a video to maybe try and help people who are new to getting out in the mountains and fell walking, pass on some of my tips, and if you take something from the video, well then it's all good. Just a disclaimer, it's obviously very subjective and no matter what you say there's always people who think you're possibly wrong or you've missed something out. I'm not an expert, I've been doing it for about 25 years and touch wood, I've never got into any difficulty out in the mountains. So yeah, hopefully you're going to get something from this. So my day tomorrow is going to be a very early start. I'll probably be setting my alarm for around 3:30 in the morning, setting off to my location and making sure I've got to get a good head start. I'm taking into account things such as parking at the moment as well, because the school holidays, it's absolutely rammed, and you know, to be sort of guaranteed a bit of a spec, you've got to get there pretty early. Because I'm just doing a long mountain hike, it might take around 6 or 7 hours, I don't know. I've got no intention of staying out, so I want to keep weight down to a minimum in as far as possible, because I'll obviously be filming this for the channel and I'll be taking along the drone as well, which is quite heavy. But that aside, most people won't be doing that, so I'll just talk you through roughly what I'll be taking in no particular order. So yeah, just don't make anything of the order which I'm telling you about. First of all, you're going to need, and they're not new shoes so there's no bad luck, a good sturdy pair of hiking boots. Now these are really recommended because there's a lot of ankle support. It's got a good robust non-slip sole. Look for boots with ideally a Vibram sole. Provides good grip on various different types of terrain and also in the wet. These particular ones are made by Mindle. There's loads of good brands out there, but it's just my favourite. I've used these over the years and the last pair I had served me very well. They're called Borneo Pro, the first pair, and these are Bhutan MFS, which has got like a memory foam system in the ankle which sort of moulds to your ankle shape, provides a lot of support. Yeah, so you need a pair of decent rugged walking boots. Make sure you lace them up tightly so that they're fitting you and providing adequate support. You don't need to spend the earth, you know, there's obviously cheaper brands available, but that's top tip number one, some decent footwear. Always worth bringing some spare pair of trainers so when you get back off the walk, when you get back to your car, your feet are going to be hot and sweaty. Bring a spare pair of socks as well, so you know, you give your feet a rest after the walk. You don't want to be driving home, if you're going home the same day, in a pair of walking boots. Not nice to be driving home with that. Secondly, a good pair of walking socks. These are made by Bridgedale. There's loads of different brands out there, but nice and thick around the sole area, around the ankle area. These are merino wool, so they're really good at wicking moisture away. They're nice and cool. And a good pair of walking socks is going to stop you getting blisters. You know, don't be going doing a walk in your brand new pair of boots on day one. You've got to wear them around the house, go up and down the stairs for a couple of weeks in them, do short walks around your local town or wherever you live, but just don't go out in day one and your brand new hiking boots, or you're possibly in for some sore feet. So yeah, that's my walking socks. Pants on this one, unfortunately post-lockdown, my nice Fjallraven trousers don't fit anymore, but I'm getting there, trust me on that, it's not far away now. I just got myself a pair of Montan Terras. They're really good, I'll put some links below. I got these from Go Outdoors. They were around 60 quid. They're really hard wearing, nice and breathable, and they got really good reviews. If anyone looks at Trail magazine, I think they got best in test on there. There's loads of different brands available, but the goods, they've got adjustable areas around the ankles so you can tighten them around your boots, and like I say, they've got venting options on the sides. Stretchy waist, so it gives you a little bit of leeway if you've put on a little bit around lockdown, but they're nice and comfortable, they dry quickly, and they're very hard wearing material. So that's what I wear in terms of pants. If you get cold legs or anything, you can put like a pair of jogging bottoms on underneath these, but you might get hot at this time of year. But you might be one of those people that just get cold no matter when it is. So if that's the case, yeah, put some different layers on. Well, yeah, that's walking pants. I've got a nice t-shirt. Forest and Fire kindly sent me this. First of all, you're going to want a base layer. I've got my base layer, but it's dry and I've just washed it. It was a cheap one from Mountain Warehouse, and they wick your sweat away, take that away from your skin, and hopefully evaporate it through your jacket if you've got a jacket on. It just stops you getting cold and removes the sweat and moisture from being against your skin. So it's a wicking base layer, ideally first. This time of year, t-shirt's fine. You know, you're trekking when it's a bit colder. You want to, you know, possibly long sleeve t-shirts and things like that. I've got a warmer layer for when I get up to the top. Bear in mind that conditions down at valley level are often nowhere near what it's going to be like on the mountain tops. It gets colder as you gain altitude, and it might be nice and sunny and great when you're parking your car. You get up to the top and it can be absolutely Baltic, especially if there's wind blowing. And don't forget, conditions in the mountains are always changeable. So check the weather forecast well ahead of your trip, and bear in mind that it can change. I use the Mountain Weather Information Service, it's free, just go online. Again, links to that below this video, but be aware of the weather, be aware that conditions on the top, you're sat, you get out your car, bright blue sky, feels great. Do not think it's going to be like that on the summit. If you're thousands of foot up, it's very cold. If you haven't got any layers, you've just got a t-shirt on, you could get into difficulty. It doesn't take long to start getting hypothermic and getting into trouble. So always pack spare warm layers. Very quickly, again, just in no order because it's next on the table. Food, I've got some sandwiches in the fridge, packet of crisps, a lot of chocolate bars for energy, packet of jelly babies, but just bring some sweets. Obviously loads of sugar in them, loads of energy. You're going to be burning off a lot of energy on your way up, and they're nice just to have as you know you're making your way up some of these tough ascents wherever you are in the mountains. So yeah, take enough food to keep you going throughout the day. Just moving on from food, water, I'll be taking a minimum of 1 litre. You know, you might want to take that in the kind of water flasks or the hydration bladders. It doesn't really matter. Most of the rucksacks nowadays are hydration bladder compatible. Make sure you have enough water. You're going to be perspiring a lot, you're going to be sweating, you're going to be losing fluids, and you're going to need to replace those fluids. If you don't, again, you're going to get yourself into difficulty. Make sure you have enough water. Don't be tempted to take the easy option out because water's very heavy and you think, well, I'm not going to need that much. Trust me, you are. You're going to drink shed loads and you need to take on board fluids. So that's that. This particular pack, you know, you're going to need a day pack on a walk. Don't go out without a day pack. You need a day pack because you've got to take things with you, the things I've already been talking about and more. Don't go up without a day pack because you're going to need to carry things. If you're a couple, even better, get your partner to carry all the heavy stuff and you can chill out, but at least one of you would need to take a day pack. That is my advice. You can see on this one I've got some walking poles. Not everyone likes to use these. Someone helpfully pointed out on the last video that these are to help you walk. I didn't know that, but thankfully I do now. Obviously that's a joke. But yeah, I take them with me to set up tarps, sometimes on the mountain tops or wherever if I'm camping out. But a lot of people use these for a bit of stability. If you're getting on a bit, or you've got like, you know, problems with your joints or with the muscles in your back or legs who are a little bit weak for whatever reason, these can make the world a difference to you and just aid your stability as you're ascending, or even more importantly, descending the mountain, and they can give you a lot more confidence as well. I don't like to walk with them, but maybe in 20 years time, touch wood if I'm still here, I might rely upon walking poles, but I take them for shelter. I'm doing a big walk tomorrow, so I'm going to try descending with them and see if it improves things for me, because it can be a little bit tough sometimes on the old knees on the descent. So I'm going to see how I get on with them. That's why I'm bringing them on this trip. Secondly, or moving on, should I say, we've got a compass. There's no point having a compass if you don't have a map. get yourself an OS map of the area that you're going to. There's no point having a map or a compass if you don't know how to use it. I've learnt over the years, like I say, I've been doing this since I've been about 14, and I was lucky enough to go climbing and scrambling with an experienced bunch of blokes who taught me it all basically. So have yourself a map and a compass. A lot of people rely upon phones and mapping applications on the phone. Whilst that's great, you're going to deplete your battery. You're going to be stopping, trust me, taking pictures every 5 minutes, and very quickly your phone's going to run out of battery, and then you've lost your way of navigating. Also, when phones get cold, if there's a bit of a wind and there's a lot of wind chill, your electronic devices with the lithium polymer batteries, the wind absolutely sucks the life out of them. So bear in mind that if you don't rely upon a phone, always have a map and a compass. And at the very least, if you have got just a phone, which I don't recommend, make sure you bring a power bank so that you can charge it up. I'm reading lots of stories about mountain rescue whereby people are ringing because they've got into difficulty and they've got 1 or 2% battery left on the phone. By the time they get a call back off mountain rescue, they cannot get in touch with the person who's put the distress call in because there's no power left on the phone, and they've got no way of finding out where the casualty is. And invariably, people who haven't taken a map or a compass, they've got no idea of the location, and they certainly haven't got an idea of a grid reference to provide to any rescue party. So have a map, have a compass, work out how to use them. There's courses online, and there's loads of courses in the Lake District or wherever to show you how to do that. There's also plenty of useful videos on YouTube to tell you how to use a map and a compass. I've also got a GPS device which I use in conjunction with the map and a compass. It's a bit of coverall. Also in the front, I've got a cheap emergency blanket that was a couple of pounds and it weighs next to nothing. It's made of lightweight reflective foil, it weighs next to nothing, and it's really cheap. Now what this does, say for example an emergency situation, you twist your ankle or even worse and you're incapacitated on the mountainside, it could take hours for you to be rescued or someone to get with you. If you're static, you're going to very rapidly cool down and you're going to lose heat. You're going to need to preserve your body temperature because you're going to go into a state of hypothermia potentially very quickly. One of these, wrap it round you. If the worst happens, it will reflect the heat back, and that simple, cheap, lightweight item could potentially save your life. Or if you don't get injured, how do you know that you're not going to be asked to help respond to a casualty yourself? You might come across someone who's injured. If you've got one of them in your pack, it genuinely could save their life. You can also get shelters which wrap around you. A couple of you can sit out under them. They're a little bit more expensive, but they pretty much do the same job, and they're nice and brightly coloured as well so that any rescue party can see you. Going into the top of the pack, I've got a head torch. Just because it's summer and the hours of daylight are much longer doesn't mean that you might not get into difficulty. This might seem like a lot of doom and gloom, but these are all the things you need to know in case the worst happens. Always take a head torch of some sort or a torch just in case the worst does happen and you end up getting stuck out on the mountain when nightfall comes in. If you get lost, if you're trying to descend in the dark, you've had something unfortunate's happened, something unexpected, the plans might just go by the wayside and you might find yourself descending in the dark. If you haven't got a torch, you're going to be in difficulty. You weigh next to nothing, just put a head torch in your pack, just prepare for the unexpected. Going into the pack itself, this is my walking GPS. This particular one's by SatMap. It's really good. Don't just rely on one of these. Like I say, if you're going to have one, use it in conjunction with a map and a compass. Essentially on the screen you're looking at an OS map. It's got a 1 to 25,000 and a 1 to 50,000 OS map of where I'm going to be walking tomorrow, and your location is shown as a dot, and you can also track where you've been. It's got it leaves a bit of a trail where you've been walking, so you can follow the paths and pinpoint with really good accuracy your position. You can also get grid references off this as well, so if you've got the money, it's well worth investing in one of these as a bit of a backup really, and it can also aid your map reading skills find out where you are on the map, see where you think you are, then turn your GPS on or look at your GPS and find out how accurate you've been with your map reading skills. It's a good way to help you use a map and a compass a lot more accurately. You can just strap these to the outside of your pack with a carabiner. This is a really old device now, and you know, at some point I might look to upgrade this, but there's a lot smaller, lighter units available now. They're all waterproof, most of them, and they have LiPo rechargeable batteries. Really good bit of kit and well recommended, but don't just use that on its own. Got a hat, especially when you're follically challenged like me. Once again, if the conditions at valley level are bright and sunny, like I've touched on as well, it might be freezing cold on the top of the mountain. So if you've got a hat with you, it's going to stop you losing heat. You lose most of your heat from your head. So just stick a hat in. You don't know what the conditions are going to be like on the summit. And it's probably going to be very cold indeed, especially with a bit of wind chill. This is one of my favourite items. It's a buff. It's essentially a tube of material which you can pull over your head. You can do loads of different things with it. You can use it as a sweatband on your wrist. You can use it as a hat, pull it up over your mouth and your nose. You can be really cool at the moment and use this as a face mask when you go shopping. But I've had this since I was a young lad. My mum and dad got me it when I was, I think, either 13 or 14, so it's very old now. It's still going well. You know, you can make bandanas with it and everything if you're that way inclined. There's loads of different things you can do with it. There's loads of different makes out there. This one's made by Buff, and again, it's always worth having. Just keeps you warm around your neck as well. Stops some heat escaping from your neck area when you've got your jacket on. First aid kit, again, essential item. Slips, trips, falls, grazes, thorns. You might get something in your eye. If you've got a first aid kit, some painkillers, some hay fever tablets, just take a first aid kit, again, just to be safe. They're all lightweight as well. Gloves, yeah, even though we're technically in the middle of a British summer, like I've said, do not underestimate how the conditions can differ when you're on the top. If you add in some wind chill, you can quickly, your extremities can get very cold. So a pair of gloves will stop that happening, and most of them now are touchscreen compatible, which when you're snapping away on your phone trying to take pictures of the views, it means you don't have to keep taking your gloves on and off in order to take pictures or operate your touchscreen device. Spare pair of socks. You know, you might have a bit of a mishap, overcook it on a stream crossing and put your feet and get your feet absolutely soaked. So it's always worth having a spare pair of socks just in case of any mishaps. And even if you don't, when you get back down to the car, your feet are going to be hot and sweaty. You want to get your walking boots off, get a nice, fresh, cool pair of socks, dry pair of socks on, just for the drive home. It's that much more comfortable. So chuck a spare pair of socks in. And waterproof jacket, I just put that in the bottom of my pack. Again, you don't know what conditions are going to be like. I'm hopefully going to be setting off tomorrow with my base layer, and you know, the forecast is quite good. But having said that, the mountainous environments, very changeable weather conditions. It might just start raining out the blue and you don't want to be caught out. So a waterproof and breathable jacket. Loads of different makes, loads of different jackets for different budgets. You know, you can spend the earth, or you can get a decent jacket for a reasonably cheap price. Take a waterproof jacket and make sure that is in your pack as well. I don't think there's anything else, unless there is. There's a power bank. Like I've said, bring yourself a power bank. Don't forget the lead to charge your phone. For those of you that, you know, are sort of relying upon phones, I'll stress again, do not rely on just a mobile phone for navigation, but there are some people who will do that anyway. If you're relying on a phone, you know, like I said, the battery's going to run out. Bring yourself a power bank so you can charge your device back up. And also, if you're running low, you know, you want to carry on taking pictures. That is it. Hopefully I haven't missed anything out. You know, it's subjective, and this is just the things I take. It's pretty standard for what I'll take on a day up in the mountains. I've been doing it for a long time, and touch wood, I've never got myself into any difficulty. You know, at the moment there's a lot of negativity with the massive influx into our national parks, and I've seen a lot of posts today on Facebook about inexperienced people getting into difficulty and having to call out mountain rescue teams, which are obviously comprised of volunteers giving up their own time. I'm not going to sit here and criticise other people for having a go, because after all, you've got to get started somehow, and it's not their fault. You could argue that they should do the research first, but hopefully this video for anyone who's starting out will help in that respect. But let's not criticise people who maybe haven't thought it through properly. Let's just try and educate and let people make informed choices of the equipment they need to take for a day out in the mountains. I can't wait to go tomorrow. I'm setting my alarm for 3:30 in the morning, so I'll be having my tea shortly and then getting an early night in and heading out for a massive day on the fells. It's a big one for me. It's a new mountain that I've never done and something that I've always wanted to do. Like I say, I'm taking the drone, I'll have my camera, and I should hopefully have a video for everyone up and live on the channel by Thursday evening at the latest. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you found it useful, please take the time to give it a thumbs up. If there's anything that you think I've missed out or any tips for other people, let everyone know in the comments below, and let everyone have a read of the comments, and after all, it might help some people out. If you're not a subscriber to MCM Outdoors, I'd be very grateful if you would consider subscribing, and check out the back catalogue as there are a growing number of videos. Also, there's a Facebook group for like-minded people, outdoor enthusiasts, and also Instagram and Twitter. There's an MCM Outdoors feed on both of those platforms. If you want to come and follow me, come over and say hello, and that would be great. Final point from me is, when you are enjoying the great outdoors, make sure you leave no trace. It's all about leaving it how you found it. You leave nothing but footprints, and you take nothing but memories, and of course photographs. Take care everyone, and I will see you on the next video.